Hello, so this is a statistical question involving a population of marks of students. So we're told that it's normal distribution with the mean as 60 and the standard deviation being 10. So we have to find A and B. And A is the probability that the marks of the students are between 50 and 70. And B is the probability that if you were to take a sample of 100 students, what's the probability that the mean mark is going to be between 58 and 62? So to find part A of the question, we're going to have to find the z values for the normal distribution curve, which is basically like this. This would be the normal distribution curve for the population of students, and we have to find z would show basically the standard deviation from the mean. We're given the mean, and we're trying to find if 50 and 70 how far they are away from the mean, and then we'll go to the log tables and then find the corresponding probability values related to the z values. So you can see here, this is the equation to find the z value. We're given the population mean, and we're also given the standard deviation. So all we have to do is plug in the values 50 and 70 and try and find what the z values are. So when we plug in 50, we can get -1, which would be here on the z table. And then when we plug in 70, we get here on the z table. So what we have to try and find is the probability that we have to find is going to be between -1 and 1. So you're going to want to get your log tables out. You can find them online and find the corresponding the probability values. So from the log tables, you can find z is equal to 1 is equal to this number here. So this kind of relates to the percentage out of 100 that the probability of something will occur. So this would be 84.13%. So how the log tables works is that it goes from whatever number you find down to minus infinity. So what we're looking to get is between 1 and -1, and what we get from this number is 1 down to minus infinity. So this is the normal distribution that kind of shows the number that I found here. Then when we look at -1, we have to take the full probability of the whole normal distribution curve, which is 1 because it's 100%, and then we have to take away z is equal to 1, because basically if we get 1, which is the whole curve, take away z is equal to 1, we're going to be getting this part of the curve all the way down this side to infinity. So z is equal to 1 is z is equal to 1 to plus infinity is the same probability as z is equal to -1 to minus infinity. So taking that on board, we take the probability of 1 of the whole distribution, take away z is equal to 1, and we get 0.1587. So that's the probability of this portion here. So then when we take the probability of z is equal to 1 and then take away the probability of this portion here, we can also invert that over here and then take this away. So we know that we just have to get z is equal to 1, take away this little tail bit. So you can see down here we get 0.6826. So that's the probability between z equals -1 and z is equal to 1. So that's the answer for A. So we're basically going to do the same thing for finding B, except there's a little bit of a catch. The catch is that the sample size isn't from there's a sample size taken from the population, and the sample size is equal to 100. So we're trying to find the probability that the mean is between 58 and 62. So what we have to do is find a sample standard deviation, which is given by this formula here. So the sample standard deviation, which is going to be smaller than the population standard deviation, that's equal to the original standard deviation of the population divided by the square root of the number of samples. So we're given the number of samples as 100, so we just get the square root of that divided by the original standard deviation, and we get a sample standard deviation of 1. So we're basically going to do the exact same thing as part A, where we get, 58 and 62, which are the two numbers we have to try and find the probability between. And we're going to subtract the population mean, and then we're going to divide by the sample standard deviation, and we're going to get z-scores that we're going to try and find the probability between. So here you can see that I did out the equations with the numbers that were given in the question. So we get -2 and we get +2. So we're going to have to find the probability between z values of -2 and 2. So we go to our log tables again, and we find that z is equal to 2. The probability of z is equal to 2 is 0.9772. So that's shown here on the normal distribution curve. Now to find z is equal to -2, we're going to do the same as in part A, and we're going to get the full probability of the normal distribution curve, which is 1, 100%. Take away z is equal to 2, which is shown up here as 9772, and then that's going to equal z is equal to 2, which is just this little bit of the tail, and z is equal to 2 upwards is equal to the same as z is equal to -2 backwards. So that's how we're going to leverage trying to find out z is equal to -2, which we find out is 0.0228. And then to find b, which is the curve between, which is between here and here, we just have to take z is equal to 2, take away z is equal to -2, so that we have z is equal to 2 is all this, and then z is equal to -2 is from here backwards. So if we take those two away, we can find the probability between -2 and 2.